Hello guys and welcome back to Leah's Lifestyle. We're on Berkshire Hathaway part 3 of 1989 and we were just talking about these coupons that these PIK and BBIK or something like that. So without further ado, let's jump into it right where we had left off. The zero coupon or PIK bond possesses one additional attraction for the promoter and investment banker, which is that the time elapsing between folly and failure can be stretched out. This is no small benefit. If the period before all costs must be faced is long, promoters can create a string of foolish deals and take in lots of fees before any chickens come home to roost from their earlier ventures. But in the end, alchemy, whether it is metallurgical, I don't know, some of the words he fucking uses, damn, they're so out there, are financial, metallurgical, I can't, I have to know, I gotta know what this word is. Relies to metallurgy, the science and technology of extracting, refining, and okay. Can someone tell me? Shut up. Shut up and tell me.
British English pronunciation
Metallurgical. Whether it is metallurgical or financial fails, a base business cannot be transformed into a golden business by tricks of accounting or capital structure. The man claiming to be a financial alchemist may become rich, but gullible investors rather than business achievements will usually be the source of his wealth. Whether their weakness, we should add, many zero coupons and PIK bonds will not default. We have in fact owned some and may buy more if their market becomes sufficiently distressed. We've not, however, been considered buying a new issue of a weak credit. No financial instrument is evil per se, it's just that some variations have far more potential for mischief than others. The blue ribbon for mischief making should go to the zero coupon issuer unable to make its interest payments on a current basis. Our advice, whenever an investment banker starts talking about EBDIT or whatever, someone creates a capital structure that does not allow all interests, both payable and accrued, to be comfortably met out of current cash flow net of ample capital expenditures. Zip up your wallet. Turn the tables by suggesting that the promoter and his high-priced entourage accept zero coupon fees, deferring their take until the zero coupon bonds have been paid in full. See then how much enthusiasm for the deal endures. Our comments about investing bankers, many bankers may seem harsh, but Charlie and I, in our hopelessness, old-fashioned way, believe that they should perform a gatekeeping role, guarding investors against their promoters' propensity to indulge in excess. Promoters, after all, have throughout time exercised the same judgment and restraint in accepting money that alcoholics have exercised in accepting liquor. At a minimum, therefore, the banker's conduct should rise to that of a reasonable bartender, whose, when necessary, refuses the profit from the next drink to avoid sending a drunk out on the highway. In recent years, unfortunately, many leading investment firms have found bartenders' morality to be an intolerable, restrictive standard. Lately, those who have traveled the high road in Wall Street have not encountered heavy traffic. The distressing footnote, the cost of the zero coupon folly will not be borne solely by the direct participants. Certain savings and loan associations were heavy buyers of such bonds using cash that came from FSLIC insured deposits. Straining to show splendid earnings, these buyers recorded but did not receive ultra high interest income on these issues. Many of these associates are now in major trouble, had their loans to shaky credits worked, and owners of the associations would have pocketed the profits. In the many cases in which the loans will fail, the taxpayer will pick up the bill. To paraphrase Jackie Mason at these associations, it was the manager who should have been wearing the ski mask. Mistakes of the first 25 years. A condensed version. A quote Robert Benchley, quote, having a dog teaches a boy fidelity, perseverance, and to turn around 3 times before lying down, end quote. Such were the shortcomings of the experience. Nevertheless, it's a good idea to review past mistakes before committing new ones. So let's take a quick look at the last 25 years. My first mistake, of course, was in buying control of Berkshire though I knew its business, textile manufacturing, to be unpromising. I was enticed to buy because the price looked cheap. Stock prices of that kind had proved reasonably rewarding in many years earlier, though by the time Berkshire came along in 1965, I was becoming aware that the strategy was not ideal. If you buy a stock at a sufficiently low price, there will usually be some hiccup in the fortunes of the business that gives you a chance to unload at a decent profit. Even though the long-term performance of the business may be terrible, I call this the cigar butt approach to investing. A cigar butt found on the street that has only one puff left in it may not offer much of a smoke, but the bargain purchase will make the puff all profit. Unless you're a liquidator, that kind of approach is buying business is foolish. First, the original bargain price probably will not turn out to be such a steal after all. In a difficult business, no sooner is one problem solved than another surfaces. Never is there just one cockroach in the kitchen. Second, any initial advantage you secure will be quickly eroded by the low return that the business earns. For example, if you buy a business for $8 million that can be sold or liquidated for $10 million and promptly take either course, you can realize a high return, but the investment will disappoint if the business is sold for $10 million in 10 years, and in the interim has annually earned and distributed only a few percent on cost. Time is the friend of the wonderful business, the enemy of mediocre. You might think the principle is obvious, but I had to learn it the hard way. In fact, I had to learn several times over. Shortly after purchasing Berkshire, I acquired a Baltimore department store, Hochschild Kahn, buying through a company called Diversified Retailing that later merged with Berkshire. I bought at a substantial discount from book value. The people were first class, and the deal included some extras, unrecorded real estate values, and a significant LIFO inventory cushion. And could I miss? So, 3 years later, I was lucky to sell the business for about what I paid. After ending our corporate marriage to Hochschild Kohn, I had memories like those of the husband in the country song, quote, my wife ran away with my best friend and I still miss him a lot, end quote. I could give you other personal examples of bargain purchases, Foley, but I'm sure you'll get the picture. It's far better to buy a wonderful company at a fair price than a fair company at a wonderful price. Charlie understood this early. I was a slow learner, but now, when buying companies or common stock, we look for first-class businesses accompanied by first-class management. That leads right into a relation lesson. Good jockey will do well on good horses, but not a broken-down nags. Both Berkshire's textile business and Hochschild Cohn had able and honest people running them. The same managers employed in a business with good economic characteristics would have achieved fine records, but they were never going to make any progress while running in quicksand. I've said many times that when a management with a reputation for brilliance tackles a business with a reputation for bad economics, it is the reputation of the business that remains intact. I just wish I hadn't been so energetic in creating examples. My behavior was matched that admitted by Mae West, quote, I was Snow White, but I drifted, end quote. A further relation lesson. Easy does it. After 25 years of buying and supervising a great variety of businesses, Charlie and I have not learned how to solve difficult business problems. What we have learned is to avoid them. To the extent we have been successful, it is because we concentrated on identifying 1-foot hurdles that we could step over rather than because we acquired any ability to clear 7-footers. The finding may seem unfair, but in both business and investment, it is usually far more profitable to simply stick with the easy and obvious than it is to resolve the difficult. On occasion, tough problems must be tackled, as was the case when we started our Sunday paper in Buffalo. In other instances, a great investment opportunity occurs when a marvelous business encounters a one-time huge but solvable problem, as was the case many years back with both American Express and Geico. Overall, however, we've done better by avoiding dragons than by slaying them. My most surprising discovery, the overwhelming importance in business of unseen force that we might call the institutionally imperative. In business school, I was given no hint of the imperatives existing, and I did not intuitively understand it when I entered the business world. I thought that decent, intelligent, and experienced managers would automatically make rational business decisions, but I learned over time that isn't so. Instead, rationality frequently wilts when the institutional imperative comes into play. For example, 1. As if governed by Newton's first law of motion, an institution will resist any change in its current direction. 2. Just as work expands to fill available time, corporate projects or acquisitions will materialize to soak up available funds. 3. Any business carving off the leader, however foolish, will be quickly supported by detained rate of return and strategic studies prepared by his troops. And 4. The behavior of peer companies, whether they are expanding, acquiring, setting executive compensation, or whatever, will be mindlessly emitted. Institutional dynamics, not venality or stupidity, set businesses on these courses, which are too often misguiding. After making some expensive mistakes because I ignored the power of the imperative, I have tried to organize and manage Berkshire in ways that minimize its influence. Furthermore, Charlie and I have attempted to concentrate our investment in companies that appear alert to the problem. After some other mistakes, I learned to go into business only with people whom I like, trust, and admire. As I noted before, this policy of itself will not ensure success. A second-class textile or department store company won't prosper simply because its managers are men that you would be pleased to see your daughter marry. However, an owner or investor can accomplish wonders if he manages to associate himself with such people in a business that possess decent economic characteristics. Conversely, we do not wish to join the managers who lack admirable qualities, no matter how attractive the prospects of their business. We've never succeeded in making a good deal with a bad person. Some of my worst mistakes were not publicly visible. These were stock and business purchases whose virtues I understand and didn't make. It's no sin to miss a great opportunity outside one's area of competence, but I have passed on a couple of really big purchases that were served up to me on a platter that I was fully capable of understanding for Berkshire shareholders, myself included. The cost of this thumb-sucking has been huge. Our consistently conservative financial policies may appear to have been a mistake, but in my view were not. In retrospect, it is clear that significant higher Though still conventional, leverage ratios of Berkshire would have produced considerably better returns on equity than the 23.8% we have actually averaged. Even in 1965, perhaps we could have judged there to be a 99% probability that higher leverage would lead to nothing but good. Correspondingly, we might have seen only 1% chance that some shock factor, external or internal, would cause a conventional debt ratio to produce a result falling somewhere between temporary anguish and default. We wouldn't have liked those 99 to 1 odds and never will. A small chance of distress or disgrace cannot, in our view, be offset by a large chance of extra returns. If your actions are sensible, you are certain to get good results. In most such cases, leverage just moves things along faster. Charlie and I have never been in a big hurry. We enjoy the process far more than the proceeds, though we have learned to live with those also. We hope in another 25 years to report on the mistakes of the first 50 if we are around in 2015. They were to do that. You can count on the section occupying many more pages than it does here. Miscellaneous. We hope to buy more businesses that are similar to the ones we have, and we can use some help. If you have a business that fits the following criteria, call me or preferably write. Here's what we're looking for. 1. Large purchases at least $10 million after tax earnings. 2. Demonstrated consistent earning power. Future projections are of little interest to us, nor are turnaround situations. 3. Businesses earning good returns on equity while employing little or no debt. 4. Management in place, we can't supply it. 5. Simple businesses. If there's a lot of technology, we won't understand it. 6. An offering price. We don't want to waste our time or that of the seller by talking, even primarily about a transaction when price is unknown. We will not engage in unfriendly takeovers. We can promise complete confidentiality and a very fast answer, customarily within 5 minutes. As to whether we're interested, we prefer to buy for cash, but will consider issuing stock when we receive as much an intrinsic business value as we give. Our favorite form of purchase is one fitting the Blumkins, Fredman, Heldman mold. In case like these, the company's owners managers wish to generate significant amounts of cash, sometimes for themselves, but often for their families or inactive shareholders. At the same time, these managers wish to remain significant owners who continue to run their companies just as they have in the past. We think we offer a particularly good fit for owners with such objectives. We invite potential sellers to check us out by contacting people with whom we have done business in the past. Charlie and I frequently get approached about acquisitions that don't come close to meeting our tests. We follow if you advertise an interest in buying collies, a lot of people will call hoping to sell you their Cocker Spaniel. Our interest in new ventures, turnarounds, and action-like sales can best be expressed by Goldwyn's "Please include me out." Include me out. Besides being interested in the purchase of businesses as described above, we are also interested in the negotiated purchase of large but not controlled blocks and stock comparable to those we hold in capital cities, Salmon, Gillette, US Air, and Champion. Last year we said we had a special interest in large purchases of convertible preferred. We still have an appetite of that kind, but it is limited since we now are close to the maximum position we feel appropriate for this category of investment. 2 years ago, I told you about Harry Bottle, who in 1962 quickly cured a major business mess at the first industrial company I controlled, Dempster Mill Manufacturing, one of my bargain purchases, and who 24 years later had reappeared to again rescue me, this time from a problem at K&W Products, a small Berkshire subsidiary that produced automotive compounds. As I reported, in short order, Harry reduced capital employment at K&W, rationalized production, cut costs, and quadrupled profits. You might think he would then have paused for breath, but last year, Harry, now 70, attended a bankruptcy auction and, for a pittance, acquired a product line that is a natural for K&W. that company's profitability may well be increased 50% by this coup. Watch this space for further bulletins on Harry's triumphs. More than a year behind him of trading Berkshire stock on the New York Stock Exchange, our specialist Jim Magru of Henderson Brothers Inc. (HBI) continues his outstanding performance. Before we listed, dealer spreads often were 3% or more of market price. Jim has maintained the spread at 50 points or less, which at current price is well under 1%. Shareholders who buy or sell benefit significantly from his reduction in transit costs. Because we are delighted by our experience with Jim, HBI, and the NYSE, I said as much in ads that had been run in a series placed by the NYSE. Normally, I shun testimonials, but I was pleased in this instant to publicly compliment the exchange. Last summer, we sold the corporate jet that we purchased for $850,000 3 years ago and bought another used jet for $6.7 million. Those of you who recall the mathematics of the multiplying bacteria on page 5 will understand panic. If our net worth continues to increase at current rates and the cost of replacing planes also continues to rise at the now established rate of 100% compounded annually, it will not be long before Berkshire's entire net worth is consumed by its jets. Charlie doesn't like it when I equate the jet with bacteria. He feels it's degrading to the bacteria. His idea of traveling in style is an air-conditioned bus, a luxury he steps up to only when bargain fares are in effect. My own attitude towards the jet can be summarized by the prayer attributed apocryphally, I'm sure, to Saint Augustine as he contemplated leaving a life of secular pleasures to become a priest, battling the conflict between intellect and glands. He pleaded, quote, "Help me, O Lord, to become chaste, but not yet," end quote. Naming the plane has not been easy. I initially suggested the Charlie's Tea Monger. Charlie countered with the arboration. We finally settled on the indefensible. About 96.9% of the eligible shares participated in Berkshire in 1989 shareholders designed contribution program. Contributions made through the program were $5.9 million and 2,550 charities were recipients. We urge new shareholders to read the description of our shareholder designated contribution program that appears on page 52 to 53. If you wish to participate in future programs, we strongly urge that you immediately make sure your shares are registered in the name of the actual owner, not in the nominee name of a broker, bank, or depository. Shares not to registered on August 31st, 1990 will be ineligible for the 1990 program. The annual meeting this year will be placed at 9:30 a.m. on Monday, April 30th, 1990. Attendance grew last year to about 1,000, very close to the seating capacity of the Weatherspoon Hall at Joslin Museum. Just this year, meeting will be moved to the Orpheum Theater, which is in downtown Omaha, about 1/4 of a mile from the Red Lion Hotel. The Radisson Redneck Tower, a much smaller but nice hotel, is located across the street from the Orpheum, or you may wish to stay in the Marriott, which is in the West Omaha, about 100 yards from Borsham's. We will have buses at the Marriott that will leave at 8:30 and 8:45 for the meeting and return after it ends. Charlie and I always enjoy the meeting, and we hope you can make it. The quality of our shareholders is reflected in the quality of the questions we get. We have never attended an annual meeting anywhere that refers such a consistently high level of intelligent or owner-related questions. An attachment to our proxy material explains how you can obtain the card you will need for admission to the meeting. Because weekday parking can be tight around Orpheum, we have lined up a number of nearby lots for our shareholders to use. The attachment also contains contains information about them. As usual, we will have buses to take you to Nebraska, Furniture Mart, and Borsham's after the meeting, and to take you to downtown hotels or to the airport later. I hope that you will allow plenty of time to fully explore the attractions of both stores. Those of you arriving early can visit the Furniture Mart any day of the week. It is open from 10 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. on Saturday and from noon to 5:30 p.m. on Sunday. Borsham's normally is closed on Sunday, but we will open for shareholders and their guests from noon to 6 p.m. on Sunday, April 29th. Ike likes to put on a show, and you can rarely rely on him to produce something very special for our shareholders. In this letter, we've had a lot to say about rates of compounding. If you can bear having your own rate turn negative for a day, not a pretty thought, I admit. Visit Ike on the 29th, March 2nd, 1990, Warren E. Buffett, chairman of the board. Wow, that was great. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're finding this on YouTube. Hit that bell icon down below so that way you know every single time when I post. And leave a comment. What did you guys think about his little section where he's like, here are my mistakes for the last 25 years? It was very interesting. Actually pretty short. I was a little surprised by that. But loved it. And if you would like to continue supporting me a little bit more, check out my links. I have down there donation and merch for you to buy if you want to help support me, pay some bills, take care of my kittens, and slowly make this all a little bit more better over time. And until next time, guys, bye.